Hey, what's going on? It's your guy, man. I'm back. Hey, listen. Know your whole. I know that might sound crazy on the surface, but it's basically saying know and love your whole self. You know, it's my belief that nothing is 100%. Nothing is 100%. You heard me? Nothing. 100% that represents perfection, and nothing is perfect. So when you're talking about knowing your whole, that's loving your good things about yourself, but also the bad things, the flaws, the drawbacks. You also have to love that side of yourself just as much. Because what happens is when you start focusing on just who you are on good days, you lose sight of who you are when you're actually being a human. Because being a human, you're gonna have faults. You know, you're gonna have people that don't really vibe with your energy, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Those are just the people that you have to avoid in this vast universe. You dig what I'm saying? If your energy is not compatible with someone else's, that's fine. That's perfectly okay. Don't beat yourself up. Don't look at yourself a certain way. It's just understanding that there's a yin and there's a yang. And that equals you. You're a whole. You're good and you're bad. You see, the yin and the yang energy, you know, that's hot and cold energy. That's masculine and feminine energy. And if you look at the yin yang symbol, it's a circle. And each side has a perfect proportion of the circle. Each side has an equal proportion. So that's what that's about. You have hot and you have cold. You have up, you have down. You have left, you have right. Like, some of this stuff wouldn't exist without the other. You can't have good if there's no bad, because how do you distinguish between the two? So ultimately, it's just a matter of perspective. You know, if you were to watch a cartoon and you see a protagonist and an antagonist, you see a hero and a villain. For one, you can't really have a story, a good story anyway, without both of them. There is no Joker without the Batman. Batman gives Joker his purpose, because the Joker so-called represents evil and everything that's bad. But you have to understand, when you think about perspective, the people that look up to the Joker or whoever we consider as an evil character, that character has a following that looks at them as a representative of hope, as a representative of living, even though they're bad characters in our eyes. Because guess what? If you look through their eyes, the other characters become bad characters. To the following of the Joker, the Batman looks like a bad guy. So really, it's just a matter of perspective when you think about it. It's completely subjective. You may look at this as the most heinous act in the world, but you ask another person that has a different understanding of it, and they may think that it's the best act in the world. That's all a part of the yin and the yang. There's no evil, there's no good. Everything just is. And it comes down to a matter of perspective. So the individual may see things a certain way, but another individual may see them totally different. Again, it's a matter of perspective. That's why I always say perspective is the most important word in the dictionary, because it fuels how you see things. You know, in my eye doctor's office, she has a poster and a plaque, and it says, "We don't see the world as it is. we see the world as we see ourselves. If that isn't a matter of perspective, I don't know what else to say. It definitely is a matter of perspective. It's how you see things. So when it comes to knowing your whole, you just have to understand that you're going to be good on some days, you're going to be bad on some days, you're going to be on some days, you're going to be off on some days. You might yell at your kids. You don't want to, but your emotions on a given day may drive you to raise your voice, maybe even spank them, you know what I mean? And then you kind of feel awful afterwards, right? I'm a parent, I know how that feels. So it's like, look, when you understand that and you take, that whole thing into perspective, and you just understand that all of that stuff is you. If you ever heard of NBA Youngboy, he got a song like that. I am who you say I am. You know what I mean? That's what he's saying. Like, look, whatever you say I am, whatever. That's how you see me. I can't really do anything about that. I can only present myself. But you're going to look at me based on your perspective. It's all a matter of how we see things. So love yourself wholly. Don't just love the good things about yourself. Love your flaws as well. I talked about that a couple of days ago. You have to embrace your flaws, because sometimes you can even make your flaws your strong points if you work at it. If you learn yourself, you put yourself on paper. You know who you are, and you embrace certain things about yourself. No, don't do that. Know yourself wholly and embrace everything as a whole. If you feel like you talk too much, embrace that. Maybe you're destined to be a speaker one day. Maybe you should be teaching. Maybe you should have a platform to release some content. If you think that your voice is too loud, again, maybe you're supposed to speak to people. If you think your patience is low, hey, that's cool. That's a part of you. Just work on it if you wish. But don't beat yourself up because of who you are. You are who you are. There's no reason to beat yourself up over your flaws or anything. Love yourself as a whole and just become better. It's just that simple. So my closing message: yin and yang energy. Good, evil, hot, cold. It all works for the whole. So when it comes to the sides of your personality, it all works for the whole, baby. It all works for the whole. Don't beat yourself up over anything. Just take a mental note and work on it. As always, think good things about yourself. Be better today than you were yesterday. Peace and blessings. I'm out, man.